All right, good morning, guys. Quick sound check. Let me know you guys can hear me. It is July the 1st, 2019, second half of the year starting today. And market's kicking it off with a pretty big bang so far. All the markets up over 1% here so far this morning. What's up, Lou, Mike? What's going on, James? Hope you guys had a good weekend. I think it's going to be an active week, to say the least here. So let's go ahead and jump right into it and kind of take a look at what we got going on. A couple minutes late start this morning. Had to swing by the post office for the wife. She apparently tried to stick a box in like the little blue, mail drop thing, and the door got stuck, and she couldn't get the box back out. I was like, you got to be kidding me, right? So, anyways, good start though to July here for the market. So, looking across the board this morning, we've got S&P's up 1.15%, Nasdaq up 1.84%, Russell up 1.24%, and the Dow up 1% on the dot there. So right now, Nasdaq leading the charge here, 1.8%. That is by far superseding all the other markets here. The rest of them seem to be moving about the same. There's a little bit of a gap there between Russell and the Dow there, about 0.24% here. But, fairly close, I think, in terms of how much we're actually gapping here this morning. So the big one that's going to be standing out is the NASDAQ this morning. Right, James? It just throws it all off. So taking a look at that, and then also looking at the Forex Factory calendar here for today. We've got some ISM numbers coming out here at 10 o'clock. And that's pretty much it. So there's some OPEC meetings and stuff. I saw crude was moving as well this morning already. It's traded 60.28s on highs, 59.27s on lows. So crude's already got over $1 range on the day as well. And then if we take a look here for the rest of the week, Tuesday, a little bit of Aussie news coming out. Wednesday here, we got some more CAD news, some more ISM numbers. And then Thursday here is going to be bank holiday. It's July 4th. And then on Friday, we've got some news coming out there as well in the morning at 8:30. So the calendar for this week, if you don't already know, and what I like to use is the NASDAQ calendar. So NASDAQtrader.com calendar gives you, so July 3rd, market's going to close early at 1 o'clock. And then July 4th, Independence Day, markets will be closed. So futures will have a little bit of, depends on which futures, may close around 1, may close a little later, may close a little earlier there, depending on the given product. So take a look at those in terms of from the CME specifically in terms of futures, which we'll do that tomorrow. But overall, just know that we don't have a lot of news coming out this week until Friday. Markets are definitely going to be closed on Thursday. And my game plan here is today, tomorrow, if we can put together some type of decent little week so far to start off with, which right now is pretty decent, locking a little over $1,200 in the overnight session there from a Dow position already on the week. So going to look to add to that just a little bit today and tomorrow. Wednesday, most likely going to be no trades unless something picture perfect sets up before, say 10:30 or so. And then Thursday, of course, no trades. And then Friday, depending on what the reaction is at 8:30, will kind of dictate whether Friday is going to be, fairly slow and sideways or not. So that's kind of my game plan for the week. And the way that I'm looking at kind of doing that today is we're going to be gapping up 29.77.75s here in the S&Ps. I've got a level marked on the chart, 29.62.75s. We pulled back in the overnight session and traded 29.63s. So if we take a look at the overnight session here, you can see we pulled back one tick front run of this 29.62.75 pullback level, and then so far have continued to push higher so far this morning. So where are we going here? Well, we're new all-time highs, which makes it a little bit more difficult to kind of gauge that. I think the S&Ps have a really good shot at maybe trading up into 3,000 this week. It's only 20 points away. We got basically 3.5 days worth of trading, and we're already up 33 points on the day. So another 20 points here over 3.5 days. I don't think will be too much to ask for there. I would like to be super patient and wait for 29.6275s to trade here in the S&Ps before looking at longs, right? There is a possibility we can pull back to that point. It will not damage, this gap up here at all if we pull back, 15 points or so. But if we aren't going to pull back here and we get the open, we kind of consolidate, we go sideways, we do a breakout of that consolidation into, kind of the 10:30, 11:30 lunch time frame there, then I think we can start looking at S&Ps for the long side. But I think this morning is going to be kind of a little bit of whippy back and forth, letting this market kind of digest this move a little bit here at the open, and letting some things settle out from the weekend as well. So first 15-20 minutes of the day, most likely you're just going to be a watcher here, and kind of see and take in a little bit of what the price action is doing there. If we don't quite get the pullback 29.6275s, but we do get, some type of pullback, we set up a divergence, we do something like that, that'll provide us a reason or an entry into this market to the long side today, then I am all for taking that as well. But the main pullback level here for the S&Ps is 29.6275s. Now, moving over to the Nasdaq. Interesting. For any of you using stage 5, there is a issue affecting charts and domes. It's being worked on. Updates will be provided shortly. First time I've ever had that, actually. So, anyways, with the Nasdaq, a little bit different story here. Nasdaq is not gapping to new all-time highs. It's getting close. Overnight session traded 78.4075s. Overnight highs I'm showing on the chart here are 78.47s here. It would make sense that we can go ahead and test those today. The levels of support and resistance I have on the day here for the Nasdaq are going to come in at 78.2750s, which you can see we're currently about 10 points above, and 77.7950s was the support in the overnight session. And if we turn the extended session on, you can see we pulled back, dipped through that level by about 7 points, and then so far have now ripped up almost 60 points here out of those lows. And I think on our way to kind of tagging those new highs. So my game plan here for the Nasdaq, I would like to see a pullback to 78.2750 this morning right off the open, in order to look at longs. So a nice little kind of 10-15 point move right off the open, tag these 78.2750s, and then allow us to rip higher from there and take out new all-time highs here, 78.47s in the Nasdaq. Now, if we get back inside 78.2750s, between that and 79.50s, I'm most likely not going to look to do too much here with the Nasdaq, because we have the possibility that we can pull back to 79.50s, or we have the possibilities that we can base right here in and around 27.50s. And I don't want to be kind of stuck in a position that's basing right around those 27.50s, waiting for the breakout to come. I would rather let it do its thing, let the breakout occur, and then buy the pullback from there. Good morning, free parking. You need to change the colors of your candles? I kind of like them. Red and green makes sense for me. But I mean, you can do whatever colors you want. Toss has a plethora of options in there for you. Well, and most platforms do too, but all right. Taking a look here at the Russell. So Russell last week coming off a really, really big move there. I mean, 1520s to 1570s last week. So big move in there. Reversed 5 days worth of downside action in just 2 days in the Russell. So really, really nice move in there. This morning gapping up here. It's got highs in the overnight session, 1588s, lows of 1578. 90s. Change your quality, change your view rate on YouTube. That's probably why they're not clear. Should be able to view it in 720 or 1080p. Anyways, so Russell here gapping up just a little shy of this 1589.50 level here. So what I think is going to happen this morning for the Russell is I think, it's about 2.5 points away. I think we can kind of pop up there, tag that 1589.50s. Depending on what we do from there, whether we start to pull back or whether we start to base and go sideways, is basically going to dictate what the next move in the Russell is going to be. I think this level trades pretty much right away, kind of off the open there within the first minute or two there, and then if if Russell does what it normally does, then it'll just kind of blow right through and trade up here to its 1600s, or if it does something normal for a change, it'll either base out sideways here and then rally, or it'll kind of get a little reaction off there, give us a pullback here, maybe back down through overnight lows in the Russell there, before it goes up to 1600s as a target. But I do think 1600s is a good looking level here for the week for the Russell, and given the kind of holiday and all that stuff, we typically end up having a little bit of a drift to the upward side here. And what I may do is another call spread in there in the Russell, similar to the one from last week. Did the 1535, 1545 last week, and we may be able to look at doing one in here as well this week. So we've got 4 days to expiration for those, and I think there may be an opportunity for a play inside of that for a 1600 print in there. But again, I'll if I do anything in there, I'll let everybody know in the MLT Discord. And then last but not least here of the 4 indices is the Dow. So Dow here gapping up the least this morning, only gapping up 1.02%, and I say only just because Nasdaq's gapping up 1.87%, and the Dow is gapping up to a pretty important level here. 26,854s. We're currently trading 26,865s, so we're about 10 points through that level here, give or take there. And you'll notice if we throw the extended session on here, we pretty much tagged this level to the tick there, pushed through it by 8 ticks there last night in the first it was the first 10 minutes of the day, after the 6 o'clock open here, and then sold off nicely with the rest of the markets, and now have rallied back to that level. And like I said, this is that kind of base consolidation, choppy type action that I don't want to be a part of. If Nasdaq's going to base around its level, if Russell's going to kind of base around its level, I want to let that base kind of work itself out and then be able to step in here. So this level is acting really, really nicely though in the overnight session so far. I think that will hold true again this morning. What I think will happen in here, the most logical thing to see would be a quick little test of this 854 right off the open there. So it's about a 10-point drop right off the open. I think that'll catch some nice bids and then run up through 26,922. So I think it's got about 70 points worth of movement in the Dow there, pretty much off the rip this morning. Overnight highs in there, 26,896s. So 40 points or so from this level. So I think there's a good 40 to 70 point target in there for the day on the Dow, and potentially all the way up into 27,000. So it could have about a 150 point target on the upside there for the Dow. It is probably my second or third rated play here this morning. I think the Nasdaq is probably the best looking play there on the pullbacks to 2750s, and then I think the Russell I think is a little bit harder in terms of getting an entry. You just pretty much kind of have to either take it right off the open, or look for a little bit of a downtick and kind of time it with the Nasdaq trading. I think that has a higher probability of hitting its 8950s, which again is only 2 points away, so risk reward is not as great. And then I think the Dow coming in third place there with the idea of the 854s and a nice long up into hopefully overnight lows, 26,922s, and then up into kind of 27,000. So I'm most likely going to focus on the Nasdaq here this morning. I think that's going to be the better play. If it doesn't get the pullbacks in the Nasdaq, it's going to make I think the rest of these markets a little bit more difficult. But Nasdaq gapping up 1.8% and still not getting new all-time highs there leads me to believe it's going to want to test those levels and kind of shake anything out that's up there. So I want to pay attention to that. And a couple more minutes to go here. I agree, Romeo. But hey, it's all personal preference. It doesn't really make a difference at the end of the day. Taking a look here at the gold market. So gold gapping down 17, almost $18 here. So we're back down under that $1,400 number here. We've had about a 17-point range in the overnight session here so far for gold. We got all the way down to 1384.70s, which actually comes down right into kind of this support 1386.20s that it would need to hold. So that's going to actually be really interesting. If gold can break that level this week, then we honestly could work our way back into this gap here down towards like 1350s and change or so. So we'll see how gold does, right around this 1400.90 level this week. Like I said, we've traded 1401.90, so a point through on the top side, 2 points through on the bottom side, and then right now just kind of hanging around this 1394 kind of line in the sand for those two levels. So I want to be paying attention to gold this week. It's got the movement. And again, if we can, maybe it's not the best week because of the holiday week, but it is already moving, showing signs that it can do so. And want to pay a little bit closer attention to this for the week. And maybe set up either some type of options trade in there. If it's going to hang out right around 1400, then I think maybe we could potentially step in and sell some premium in there. If there's an opportunity there for that, we might have to do it in something like GLD. GLD here has weekly options. The GC does not have weekly futures options. So there may be an opportunity in there. GLD is gapping down to 131.50s right here. So that thing's gapping down about $1.60 or so this morning. So it makes sense. Gold's gapping down about 17 bucks. That would gap down about $1.60. And then crude oil here. So crude oil has had a really nice range so far in the overnight session, about $1 and a penny so far. And you can see we've come down, we've retested this 59.73 level, pushed through it by one tick so far this morning, and now trying to get a reaction off of that. So use 59.73 as a gauge this morning for if we're going to go lower. Use 60.06 here as a gauge, the opening print for the day, if we're going to go higher. So if we break 59.73s, we got some pullback. If we break 60.06s, then we can rally from there. Anyways, that's what I've got for you guys this morning. Thank you so much for tuning in. Happy July 4th week. Hopefully it's a good start for you guys to the second half of the year. And I think a good idea to start off the second half of the year is to join the MLT Discord. And you can do so by clicking the link in the description below. And would love to have you guys in there and work with you on a little bit closer basis on trading each and every day, because that's where you guys get to see me trade live for the first hour to hour and a half each and every day. As always, give me a thumbs up on this video if you enjoyed the content. Click the subscribe button if you're new around here. We go live each and every morning about 9 o'clock Eastern and do exactly what I just did. Share my thoughts and analysis and what I'm looking to do for the day in these markets. So take care. Have a good rest of your day. And I'll see you guys back in just a couple minutes.